Hey, I'm Nick Williams of Medicare Millionaire. We got Matt. Everybody wants to hear more of Matt, so I may call this More Matt.
More Matt.
More Matt. But we're going to talk about sales. We got a couple different topics we're going to go. But you know what, Matt? First thing I want to start off with was when we last talked, we were discussing working on Sundays, and you said never.
Yes.
But do you know what you said later? Or I think it was last Sunday, you said, I'm making phone calls.
Yeah.
You said, I'm making phone calls on Sunday, so you do work Sundays.
Just not out in field, but I will do preparation for the next week.
Right. So, well, I guess the point is, I'm kind of right. Unbeknownst to you, you were kind of, you do work Sundays.
Dang, I made you right on something. You're not supposed to be right.
But this is it's a full-time job. And I say a full-time job. It's a career. It's a business. And you got to put in the hours. And a lot of people will say that's not popular in this day and age.
To work Sunday or put in a lot of hours?
Like to put your business first.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, this business you better put it first.
Yeah, but it's still not popular. I mean, a lot of people say, no, you got to have your weekends. You got to shut it down. Like, you know.
Well, how successful do you really want to be?
Yeah,
if that's the
right.
case.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of agents out there who may work Monday through Wednesday or Monday through Thursday, but if you want to put up really big numbers and do it consistently, you're going to have to work the occasional Saturday, and then it doesn't hurt to do preparation on Sunday for the following week. So I've just always done
whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning, you want to work, I mean,
as much as you can,
as much as you're able to do, and it's like, I think that people they say, well, no, you got to put your family first. And I guess, of course you have to put your family first. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, how many times have we been together and have my daughter with me?
Most of the time.
Right? So and we're having fun usually. Yeah, usually we are. So it's not like your family suffers. Your family can be part of your business. It's kind of whatever culture that you create within your little micro community, whatever you want to call it, your family.
Your own little world.
And I've also said many times over that the agents that I'm working with or people I sell with are usually my best friends. And usually when they move on, it's kind of like I have some people I stay in touch with over long periods of time, but it's nothing like when we're working together, that bond. Because it's like we're in the trenches fighting, and it's like, it's like constant communication. Or you really don't have a good relationship.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I made a video I haven't been making a lot of videos, but I did make my most recent video I made it bombed. It bombed.
What was the topic?
Well, it was our buyers liars, which is a bad name. Which is a bad name for a video because it's like a real negative, and I think that turned people off. But what I was getting at, if more people had looked at the video, and when people did look at it, there were good analytics, like they watched it all the way through. But I think, and I also put dishonest agents or dishonest clients. So I guess it's just negative. But the point is, and what I want to ask you, Matt, is, and what I meant by our buyers liars is when they say something and that's really not what they mean. So I'll give you an example. If they're saying, I got to talk to my wife about it. Mm-hmm. Really, they may not really have to talk to their wife.
Sure.
But that's what they're telling you.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of objections. That's just one of them. And
But it's like, I guess the point is, it's like, really, what are they really trying to say? And I guess that's really what we have to get at.
Yeah, you have to smoke out that objection somehow.
Yeah.
And I mean, it does take a little bit of skill and experience and some finesse, I guess, to really get to the root of their objection. And so it does take practice also.
How about when somebody says, let me think about it?
I'll just agree with them and just say, okay, Ms. Jones, that's great. I understand you want to think about this. And then I just kind of ignore it and just go right back into maybe a different part of the benefits or a different part of the presentation. Because if there's something they want to think about, it's just uncertainty or they don't trust you. So then I'll just try to re-engage them in some other way or some other road through the presentation. So you hear it, let it go one ear and out the other, and just try to continue from a different angle.
Yeah, and I think the last video that we did, we actually touched on this exact thing, if you recall. We talked about this same exact thing. But these are the things that that agents will fail on these, I guess, when these rejection, the agents just wither and die. Mm-hmm. And so it's almost like, well, again, we're being repetitive because we talked about it on the last video, which is kind of like, well, we're talking about it again, but it's like real important. You can't wither in the face of an objection.
That's really when the sale starts. I mean, that's right, yes. You can present all day long.
Otherwise, you're an order taker.
Exactly. So when someone objects, I've heard this for years actually. I've read it that the average person will object to a salesperson 5 or 6 times. It may have even been more than that, and I just think, wow, if someone's objecting to me 5 or 6 times, I'm usually out the door. I usually don't get that much pushback, but when someone gives an objection, that's really when your job begins as a salesperson, is identifying what it is that they're objecting to and trying to overcome that, or trying to really get them out of their own way. And a lot of times it's just a knee-jerk reaction that they have. They're so programmed to saying that. They're so programmed to just saying no to salespeople. That's just what they do.
And they will. With some people, they don't want to lose. It's like a little.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like no, you're not going to close me.
That's right. That's why. That's why like a 3-option close for final expense is good also.
Yeah.
I think because it gives that person an option. And then if it's like just a stubborn, men were stubborn creatures, especially the older they are, they're usually more set in their ways they are. And so I'll sit with someone and say if it's like an older gentleman who's been with the company forever, but I see that the plan is better for him to move and it'll increase his benefits, maybe lower his meds. I just say something to the line of, yeah, Mr. Jones, well, based off what we're looking at, would you like me to help you with this? Like I really just put the ball in his court. I'm not trying to just pressure him like, see, you want this? Isn't this awesome? I just say, Mr. Jones, would you like me to help you with this? And just let him kind of, then makes the decision in his mind like, yes, I made this decision. This is me going forward. This guy's not pushing me into this.
So in other words, he's telling you.
Yes, I try to frame it where he's telling me what to do and try to help him to get out of his own way also, because, again, if I'm not helping this person in some way, I'm usually out the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people are just dug in. They just want to win. And then, but I believe if you go in there and establish yourself as a professional, you won't get that so much. Mm-hmm. If you establish yourself as a strong personality, a strong salesman, that you're not fooling around. This is serious business. Yeah. They won't play with you. I think that comes out where they just want to toy with you. And I've had them do that. I've had a guy actually pull out, because I sell annuities. That's part of my process. I want to sell annuities. Again, it's a 4-product progression from Medicare to final expense to indemnity to annuity. And I had a guy pull out an Edward Jones statement that had $1 million in it. It was just over $1 million, and he just wanted to show me that he had $1 million.
Just to flex on you.
To flex on me, thank you. That was it. Then he just packed that stuff up, put it away. Like, there you go.
So what did you say when he pulls this out?
I was, I had the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up. I'm like, yeah, baby, we're going to make some money here. But as soon as he was done showing me what he had, he tucked that stuff back in a folder and put it away, and he just wanted to show me that he had $1 million.
That sounds like kind of a jerk, actually.
Yeah, he kind of sort of was, but he was a country boy, and I guess he wanted to, and maybe I came in a little bit too brash or something, and he wanted to put me in my place. I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so, but it was kind of funny in hindsight. It's funny to tell the story today, It's like, you just want to show me at $1 million, and now be on your way.
You should have said, odd flex, but okay, buddy.
Yes, right, yeah. But I was there for Medicare. I mean, I'm always there for Medicare in the first place, and I pushed for the annuities, as I would go through that progression, and he put me on my place. Okay, here's the next question, Matt, and you brought this up previously in the conversation, but final expense,
Mm-hmm.
the when somebody needs to make money fast, that's where they tend to gravitate towards, correct?
Sure. Yeah.
And I know in this past year, because Matt's only been selling Medicare not even a year.
Not even a year. Yep.
Not even a year. And
9 months.
Yeah, 9 months. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. With COVID.
Yep.
And in between, or amidst that period of time, but there's been several times when you're like, man, I'm just going to go out and slam some final expense down, but you never did do it.
I never did. I just got too focused on the Medicare.
Yeah, yeah.
And I sold final expense, gosh, roughly right at 10 years, though.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could just turn that spigot on if I needed to. And you and I discussed this also, because I was really dead set on just focusing on final expense there for like right at the beginning of summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in.
You got the leads even.
I did. I got a nice amount of leads. I got about, I want to say over 100 of those final expense leads. And I just dug in and just stuck to my guns on
And we were kind of like
back and forth on that.
Yeah, because I was saying, no, man, you got to stay with the Medicare.
And I did. I ultimately stood.
And you ultimately did.
Yeah, because it just kind of defeats the entire purpose of me getting into this market if I was just going to pick up final expense again. But it is there, and I do still write it sparingly.
Mm-hmm.
But my main focus going forward is my Medicare book of business.
And again, final expense is good to sell, but I suggest that you sell final expense when it's a good sale. And by good sale, I mean not somebody that doesn't have any insurance.
Yes.
That's a bad sale.
Mm-hmm.
Replacement is a good sale.
Mm-hmm.
And adding to is a good sale when they've established a track record of paying for it over many years.
Someone's 80, 70, late 70s, 80 years old, doesn't have insurance. Odds are they probably aren't going to get it. And if they do, they probably won't keep it.
I would say that in my experience, my persistency's got to be above 85%, if not 90%, when I just do replacement or add to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and I'll do a few things, and I've talked to other people. I've talked to some noted final expense guys. They don't do this, but I'll look for the paid up editions. I'm sorry, reduced paid up. Mm-hmm. I'll look for the cash values, so different things like that. Do you do that when you?
Yeah, that's all part of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've talked to final expense guys, and they say they never do that. And I guess if they're just running and gunning, they don't have time to do all that.
Yeah, and that's the thing with our presentation. It's cross-selling.
Yes.
And so
you're more of a consultant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's when I'm so busy, when I've got 8, 10 or more appointments a day, I just focus on Medicare, doing that and getting out. And that's really what keeps me the most from digging into final expense and other things and even asking about it, because my appointments are an hour apart. I'm just trying to build my Medicare business as fast as possible, and that's why, that's why I just try to get
through it. And again, I'm so glad that you did not fall back on that final expense. It's like a crutch.
Yeah, because you can make, I know what I can make in a month with final expense, and then with the Medicare, everything's prorated. So there is, I guess, with
the Medicare Advantage, which
sure
in the upstate of South Carolina, Medicare Advantage, I mean, it's a dominant product. Because they're great products here. So like down in Florida in some areas and in California in some areas, just the Medicare Advantage is a strong product. So what happens is as the year goes on and your prorated commissions are dropping down, by you get to July or August and you're looking at a very small...
Yeah, they really don't pay us anything.
Yes. So until you have that... and you're getting all your money, but you're just not getting it until the following year. You're getting a very small advance. And it kind of hurts somebody who doesn't have cash. Now, you're able to make it, but still, it still is kind of like, wait a minute, my cash flow isn't what it was.
Yeah, and that's why, it was tempting, but at the same time, it just goes against why I got into this and stay with final expense, because eventually, I'll have that nice residual coming in every single month. And so there was a bit of sacrifice involved this year, but I stuck to my guns on the Medicare, and that's what I intend to do going forward. But I come across people sometimes who just bring it up, and just because of what my business card says, it says final expense and Medicare. So, and they'll ask me about it.
I think the one thing that you may have had, based on all our conversations, some difficulty with this year is going through the products like you were selling Medicare and you stayed on the Medicare and just trying to, and you kept moving from Medicare, from house to house, so to speak. So on Medicare, instead of stopping and trying to sell final expense in each one. Well, did you find that to be difficult?
It was only difficult just trying to bring to cross sell in the same presentation when I've got, if I had more time during the day, but when I try to stack my schedule every single day. So I just,
there's no time.
There's no time, and that's what me and you discussed a lot this year actually was, should I focus on all these products? And I told you I just want to build.
You want to build your book
with Medicare,
and it's worked.
Yeah, and I could stop and I could bring up final expense in every house and just like start the conversation and then try to schedule an appointment later. But I just don't even bring it up most of the time. Me personally.
Right.
And now that may change next year, but this year I was just, like I said, I'm just focused on this Medicare.
Yes. And that's smart.
But they still ask me. I still get asked about it. Even this Friday, I was asked about it. So
you're not even trying. You sell final expense.
I still sell it. Yeah, one lady, she asked me if I could. She said, because she sold my card, and she said, "Can you come back and we talk about this?" And so I'll go back next week and probably rewrite her final expense.
But not even trying. How many would you final expense sales? Is it like a weekly or bi-weekly?
If I would probably say maybe let's say a month. I'd probably do 5 a month. Maybe.
Right.
And that's just from.
But once they go, they're on it. It's like the switch turns on because you're a final expense salesman.
Yeah, I mean, I could turn that switch on.
Yeah, yeah. That's 10 years selling final expense. So it's almost like that's kind of like riding a bicycle.
Yeah. It's the same clientele also.
It's the same clientele.
Same exact clientele.
Yeah. And I would say that. Based on the type of leads you're running, because you've had a lot of direct mail, and that's resulted in a lot of Medicare Advantage, and that would be your final expense clientele.
Yes.
So would you say that in the future, after your book is built up, that it would make sense to do the 4-product progression type thing, or do you think at a certain point it just becomes I want to scale this?
Scale just the Medicare
sales?
Or?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's where my head is at personally right now. I mean, I still could go through, and I've sold a good bit of hospital indemnity this year. It's just that, especially right now at AEP, I'm just trying to see as many, because we did that huge mailer.
Yes.
And so I'm still currently trying to work through that as the time of this recording, we've got 3 weeks left in the season. So, and I've still got a stack of direct mail leads to hit. So right now I'm focusing on just the Medicare Advantage solely. I don't even bring up anything about, and this is where I do myself a little bit of discredit, probably leaving money on the table, but I hardly even bring up any other product through this season.
I would have to say that approaching the Medicare season, when I say Medicare season AEP, I've done the same thing, like in the past when I was out in the field more. It was during the rest of the year that I did I did the transition more so, especially when you're going in houses and you can't sell Medicare Advantage, and so you have the Medicare supplement sale. That gets to be a more that client is a more affluent client. They may not be affluent, but they are more affluent.
Sure, yeah.
So it makes sense that you would have a more, you would slow the conversation down and kind of broach these other subjects or transition to these other products and perhaps talk about money. And what I do is I'll say something like along the lines of, do you have an emergency fund? Or I'll insinuate, you do have an emergency fund, correct? And if they say, yeah, I got a 401k, then I'm in, So something like that. Or I'll talk about LIS. Extra help, and if they and I'll talk about the asset requirement for extra help, and if they have assets, they might disclose it at that time, and then we've opened that door to the annuity.
That is one thing I bring up most houses is LIS. Actually, really almost every house that gets brought up at some point.
Yes.
Most people have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right.
There was a statistic I saw that I think something like 30-something or 40% of the people that can qualify qualify for this have no idea that they even qualify for it. There's like a large percentage of people who are eligible that have no idea. And so it is important to bring it up at some point. Like, how much are you paying for these medications?
Yeah.
What do you bring in monthly? Well, did you know there's extra help through Social Security that can help subsidize the cost of these meds? I have no idea. What is that? And then I've got my laptop, so I just show them the website. And then a lot of times I'll just apply right there with them.
And within 2 weeks, they've got an answer, and you can come
2 weeks
back.
to have an answer, yeah.
Yes.
Plus, it creates a special enrollment period for them if you're outside of AEP, that you can put them in a plan.
All right, so we're getting near the end of the year, and you can see what the numbers look like for the year, as far as your Medicare Advantage sales. Next year, it's not going to be like a cash cow year from the Medicare because it takes 2 years. But what do you see in 2022 base income?
For myself, base income?
Just based on your Medicare renewals, what do you see yourself waking up to? Get out of bed money.
Oh, man.
Will you be over 10 grand a month easily?
Well, you and I have talked about this 100 times. And
yes.
So next year, and that's where I have my own projections at the pace. So I'll finish at 200 for this year, right at it. And then I know I could do probably 3 or even 4 next year. Depending on COVID and lockdowns and everything else, I know that there's a lot of uncertainty going on. But if I can have over 500 on the books total for this year, and by next October, then I'll have, that's over 10,000 coming in monthly, residually, before I even get out of bed. So sure, I think I'm very confident I could hit 500 by October of next year, before the cutoff.
Well, you in a COVID year, you're at 200, so why would you not be able to, right?
Yeah, so at 2022, I should be making 10,000 in residuals by January 2022. And
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's why of course, that's the whole reason I left Final Expense to
do this. And at the Final Expense, you can make a bunch of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you always see people cycle out of it.
Well,
but you don't see people cycle out of Medicare once they've made it.
Sure, and then my own motivation is to also get off of the road. Because I'm just tired of being in that car, man.
I've
been a road warrior for a third of my life. Most of my working career has been behind the wheel. Yeah. And so it's just time to get off the road and then start our agency.
Yes.
And then
and we have a agency that we're starting here in South Carolina, a local agency, and but we'll take agents from anywhere in the country, relocate. Is what we say. Come to South Carolina,
to G-ville,
and come to G Vegas, as the youngsters call it.
Vegas.
Have you heard that yet?
Not yet.
G Vegas. So, but all kidding aside, when you relocate, you've got nothing but time, and you can put 110% of yourself into this opportunity, and you have people like myself and Matt that you're going to be working right next to, and I wasn't expecting to make that pitch. But that makes a lot of sense. If somebody lives, even like if they're down in Georgia or Charlotte or something like that, anywhere in this region, why not just relocate to South Carolina or Greenville, South Carolina, and join our agency?
Yeah, it's just by happenstance that I found your channel. And
That's right.
wound up living 2 miles from you.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. But I remember one video you said, if you're in the Greenville area, call me. I said, wow, this guy's in the same city as me. So met you up at Stroessner's Bakery or Deli, whatever.
Yes.
And the rest is history, man. But
the rest is history. That's right. That's right.
Hopefully not. We're just starting this whole thing, man.
Right. And what I've said has pretty much been on the mark. I mean, it's
as
kind
far
of
as
what I said. If you do this, if this, then that.
Yeah, it's just been my own learning curve through this new market, and just the.
It has been the difficulties have been compounded by COVID.
Damn COVID, man.
Damn COVID. That is.
I missed 2 months because of COVID.
I know.
I would have been at 250 if it wasn't for COVID.
Yeah,
250,
yeah.
maybe could have broken 300, man.
Yes.
So next year,
Yeah.
we need to get this COVID thing under wraps. All of us insurance salespeople are sitting here stressing.
Well, the election's not over yet, or something like that.
Yeah, it's up in the air. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But,
well, let's not go down that road, that
but
rabbit hole.
At least we're in a good state. I don't
Yes.
think McMaster is gonna lock us down like Newsom in California.
And it's surprising in Florida they're wide open. Tennessee they're wide open. North Carolina's a little bit less wide open, but
I think we'll be okay I think the South will be okay, and so that gives me a lot of optimism for next year.
I actually went to a house. One day this past week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, and I didn't even think of the mask. And usually I have a mask because I'm not selling in houses a lot, so I forgot. And the lady was serious about the mask, which is you don't see that all the time in this area. But I said, well, let me go go back to my car and get it. She goes, don't worry, I got one for you. And
I've seen it. It just hasn't been. If I had to put a number on it, probably maybe 15-20% of people I see even worry about it or ask me.
Yeah.
They may be in their back of their heads, they're thinking about it, but actually have the mask and ask me if it's a small amount of people.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've covered a fair amount here, and the important thing is I guess with Matt is I look at it as you came into this business and started in the month of January.
About mid-January, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all working out. It's kind of proof's in the pudding. And
and I will say this, that I have busted my rear end.
You have.
You have. Definitely not slack.
Yes, and I'm impressed, and I'm grateful to watch it. I really, truly am.
Yeah, man, because
I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you too, man. I was calling you almost every day.
Yelling at me sometimes.
Yeah, man. Not yelling at you, but just
right.
Man,
expressing yourself.
Yeah, just sales can be.
I remember when I started in this business, people saying, "Nick, why are you mad?" And I'm like, "I'm not mad. I just want to make more sales."
Yeah, no, man.
And that's how you are. It's like,
well, I've got pretty laid out goals, and it's just I want to hit those, and we're with our different marketing. I mean, we are kind of. I guess what I'm trying to say is I just had to fine tune my marketing approach and to really hit my numbers.
And you have adjusted things, made them your own.
Yeah, I mean, it took there was definitely a learning curve, and like I said, we've said it a couple of times now, not to, sound like a broken record, but COVID has played its part in this naturally. But at this point, I think I've got it pretty dialed in. I know what my approach will be for next year, but it takes effort, takes a lot of work. There's a lot of windshield time, definitely. And then every night I came home when I first started and just jumped on any webinar.
Well, I want to ask you about windshield time. You did the phone thing for a while. A lot of people want to work on the phone, and we're intensely involved in phone sales. But that didn't kind of gravitate. I mean, you didn't kind of gravitate towards that. You did it.
I did it.
You did it because you had to, and you did it successfully.
Yeah. And
I will add that he did the phone sales successfully because you had to.
Yes, and at the same time, it wasn't enjoyable when I was doing it.
Yes,
and so some things I feel like this product you really need to be face to face. And
which many people would disagree with you, and
they would. That's their own style, but me, I prefer face to face. It's just how I came into the business as a salesperson, face to face, and so. I just prefer it. I like being out there and seeing people. I don't like being in my home office, cooped up, sitting at my desk all day. I despise it. So that's why I was so ready to get back out in the field.
Yeah.
And a lady I saw Saturday, I had an appointment Saturday morning. She's like, at the end of it, I really appreciated what she said, and she said you bring a nice personal touch to this that I think may get lost. And I said, wow, that's pretty profound. I appreciate that. And I think that's what it takes. I think this product you need a personal touch, so I think face to face, in my opinion, is the best approach to this.
And I think it's whatever works for you, but certainly it's working for you. Your approach is working.
I guess so, man, for myself. And who says I do it right? I just
right. we all have our opinions.
Yeah, we know other agents who are absolutely just killing it, man.
Yes.
Just doing 3 times what I do, but
yeah, but not too many. I mean, you hear a lot of talk, but you're actually out there selling, doing it.
Yeah,
and you hear a lot of people talking about doing it. You hear, but we know the formulas.
Yeah.
To do you agree that based on the formula that we have and that we understand, and you and I have talked about this many times, you can toggle it up?
Yeah, because next year, I know what we have to do as far as mail drops next year, and even when I was doing 5 or 6 of these a day when the AEP first started, and given it's AEP, but earlier in the year I'm thinking I can make this consistent because it's all about really time management.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can do it, if 5 sales on Monday, why can't I do 5 sales Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as well, and even Saturday if I want to? It's just a matter of data. It's a matter of leads.
And Matt's done a combination of telemarketing and direct mail. Mm-hmm. And the direct mail is a great lead. And I've always said that direct mail is a great lead. Matt is further taken that direct mail lead and qualified it by having it telemarketed, so to speak. Not telemarketed.
Appointment setter.
I had an appointment setter working. So you're kind of skimming the cream off the top, so to speak, and then you work the other leads. But it's just the more telemarketing, the more direct mail, the more appointment setters. It's just you can scale it up.
Scale it, absolutely.
So I know you were being modest about saying 300 next year. But I also know in our conversations you talk about writing, 20 a week.
Yeah, because I just see what can be done, and 4 a day is not it's not like it's like sweating all day trying to get that. That's just a normal 10 to 6 day. You can knock out 4 a day, and it's just doing that every day. It just takes a lot of leads, man.
It takes a lot of leads.
That's all it really takes. Just drop more mail. Hire more telemarketers, pull more data, whatever you have to,
but you got to be able to sell. And that's the thing. You got to be able to sell. And that's what I
feel like we really sell. Like all these objections, I don't really get them.
I know. We talked about this the last time. And that's because people focus on the lead being the secret to success. The lead isn't the secret to success. The volume of leads is.
Yeah.
The secret to success is, can you sell or not? That's really what it's all about. And you can sell, Matt. And that's really why that's why you can say more leads equals more sales. But you could give many people more leads. They're not going to make more sales.
I honestly feel like I could teach a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old how to sell management. I'm dead serious. I feel like this is the easiest thing in the world to sell. Do we even sell? We don't even really sell.
Well, that's because when you go in, you have this confidence level that leads to somebody just doing. It's a process, and the people follow your lead. But a lot of people, when they're out there selling, they have this look that says, I'm not certain, I'm not sure of myself, I'm not sure of what I'm saying, I might be deceiving you, and it might be, and I actually had this in my thumbnail for the last video I made. Remember I said at the beginning of this video, the video was dishonest buyers or dishonest agents.
Yeah.
It's not that the agent is lying, it's just that they don't come across as being trustworthy because they don't have the confidence.
Well, I will say this from my own experience in this. I remember my first week in selling Medicare Advantage or Med Subs. I didn't know my product well enough, and so every appointment I went into, I just really just left it alone. I did them a disservice, but that's when I came home and I said, I've got to really learn, because you go through the AEP and the AHIP, not the AEP, but AHIP training and all the certifications. There's so much stuff to take in. You cannot retain all that information.
Yes.
I had to come home every single day and dig into it. But that's what built my confidence, is knowing that product. You have to know these products or it'll come across. And it's just knowing them and going through any webinar that they had online any online training I could get my hands on. I came home every single night those first probably 3 or 4 weeks and just learned the product. And that way I wasn't leaving money on the table. I wasn't doing them a disservice. I wasn't wasting leads.
And when you were talking about the products and stuff, you then had certainty.
Yes, that's what builds that confidence.
Yes.
I know the products. I've seen them. I know, and I tell you, what eventually built, I guess, my certainty is knowing if someone had a plan, I would immediately know this is the perfect plan to counter that. Usually, given everyone's got, these plans aren't one size fits all, but I know if I see like a Gold Plus HMO, I know what'll be comparable will actually provide better benefits. Given that there are a lot of factors, someone's health and medications, but just knowing those products better just built my confidence, really more than anything.
Yeah, because if you're talking to somebody and you don't know what you're talking about, that's when
they're going to see that.
Right, they can see it.
Yes, that's why I said I have to know these products.
Well, and I talk to agents and I say, just go out and just talk to people for a couple weeks. And I've said this, and people are like, "Oh yeah, it's easy for you to say, but I got to make a living. I got to make a sale to pay a bill." And but at the same time, no matter what, if I taught you everything I knew, if Matt taught you everything that he knows, when you go out in the field, you are going to suffer those first handful of appointments. Because when I say suffer, you're not going to know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're not.
It's just the way it is. So you got to go out and get a spanking. And
well, I'm seeing the same clientele that I've seen for a decade, and I'm out there like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting with people, and I'm like doubting myself because I didn't know the products or know what to do as well as I should, and that's why I said I've got to just pump the brakes. And I realized I don't know this. I'm brand new. But at the same time, you have to know this because it's so important to them. If you mess this up, they'll have our butts, I feel like. And that's what I'm telling myself. I'm like, this is so serious.
Yes.
This isn't like I'm not just selling them anything. This has to do with their health care and their medications, for crying out loud. So I was like, I've got to go back to the drawing board and really learn this and know this so I don't really screw someone up and leave them worse off. But, now at this point, I think we said this in the last video, you and I are I feel like I am, also, being in 9 months, I'm at the competence level of what they call inconscience competence, where you just go out and do it. You don't really realize what you're doing. And it's after hundreds of presentations this year, I feel like I've got it down pretty well at this point. Yeah. And now we just go do it. Like I remember saying, I don't really know what to teach someone as far as how I sell. I don't really think about it. Anyone watching this, I will say that it's not even really selling as much as it is just asking the right questions. Like that's all I really do is just fire off the right questions at them and try to gather as much intelligence and information as I can. Like that's really what I'm doing for most of my presentation, if you want to call that, is just asking them questions.
I have a lot of videos, and I have one video where actually 2 videos where I go into the questions to ask. I walk through the questions that you need to ask, and those videos really do extremely well, and that is the biggest, the number one email I get.
What questions do you ask?
Is why I say in one of the videos that I have a list of the questions and just send me an email. I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
I get so many emails for that I have a hard time getting them all out because it's like I just have to attach that document to the email and respond. Man, but it's like I'm running. You
do it so much different. You do it so differently than I do.
I know.
And it's like I did like Frankenstein a presentation, and like I just kind of picked up these questions as time went on. I'm like, I really need to ask them that. And I guess if I sat down and write them, I say the same thing in every house. My presentation, my whole approach is so conversational, like, because I don't really care how that how that particular sit goes. I don't have any.
Because you have so many sits.
Because I've got so many a day. I'm completely indifferent, and that's why I just go in there, and everything is so light. And I just sit down with a person, just basically have a conversation with them, and like, oh yeah, I'm here to help you with something also. Like, but it's very personal conversation.
It's almost like the sale is a byproduct of the conversation.
That's actually the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
The sale is kind of like a byproduct of what I do. It's like I'm really just there. Like I would go see my mother's friend, Miss Jane, that is in her church group. It's really like the same type vibe. If I can put a word on it, like that's just the vibe that is in that presentation. Just like
very relaxed.
It's just like this, man. And it's like I'll sit there and say, "We'll talk about anything." And when you go in, and people, and I know agents still say, "What do you talk about? How do you warm up?" And I was taught, I think it's CORE, like, or I can't remember the acronym they used to give us. It was just like occupation, family. There was just like 4 points, but I'll go off of any stimuli, and a lot of times like people love their pets, and so you'll see pets in the house. I'll ask, what's the dog's names, or how long have you had anything, like anything.
People like to talk about their pets.
They like to talk about their pets, their family, their occupations, like anything. But I just sit down. The first question I usually ask is, when I'm walking in the door, I always ask the same thing every single time. I said, "Miss Janie, how are you doing today? You feeling all right today?"
Yes,
that's the first question in every single house. They always will get them talking.
And the questions in my presentation is, I sit down and I say,
"How's your health?"
Well, my first thing is, "So how you doing?" And I say it just like that. "So how you doing?" And it's so disarming.
It's very
And then I go into, because you want to have questions and have a steady flow of questions so that you don't have uncomfortable silences. Now, uncomfortable silences may come when you calculate a rate or looking up a doctor, but that's later.
You're closing.
Yes, and where you may want that. But in the beginning, it's like, "So, how you doing?" And I always say when somebody's at the door, it's like, I want to get in, and it's like, so I'll just take a few minutes of your time. How's it going? Yeah. And then it's like,
I can't even tell you the last time there was an awkward silence. Presentation.
And then when I go in the house, it's like if I see somebody else sitting in the chair, like the husband might be sitting his lazy boy, then I have another, "How you doing?"
Yes.
So there's two "how you doing."
I will say that. And when you go into a house, because this things we don't think about consciously, but like every time I'm in a house, I try to engage everyone in there.
Exactly. That's my point.
You always want to engage someone because they'll think, "Who the heck is this guy seeing? My mother."
Have you ever gone into a house and there's a bunch of people in there? It's like the weirdest thing.
Yeah, but I just sit there with a stupid grin on my face. I'm like, "Hey guys, how you doing? I'm here to help Ms. Jane." Because they'll wonder, "Who the heck is this guy in here visiting her?" So I try to make it clear, like, "Hey, I'm Matt. I'm here to see her."
Do you know what's interesting about that is when you have no stress, everybody, and you can just sit there and say, "So how's everybody doing?"
Yeah.
And just not even be worried. I remember when I was a rookie, and into many years of my sales career, that would have unnerved me to no end. And it always has unnerved me.
Being in a house
when it's my client there, and then they got the neighbors there.
Yeah.
Or maybe their kids are there. It's like, oh no. But as time went on, and I was just like, I welcomed it. It was almost like, so I got more people. Let me put on a little show.
You want to have that type of energy also, because if you are bothered by someone there, then I think subconsciously it'll make them distrust you. Like,
exactly.
What does this guy got to hide? So if anyone's in there, I don't care that someone's there, but I think that most people, they'll have the courtesy to say, if their neighbor's there, like, "Okay, I got to take care of this business. See you later." Mm-hmm. But I don't let it affect me one bit. If there's the neighbor and they'll say, "Oh, hey neighbor," what you just want to you want to engage and be friendly with everyone who's in that house, and like they're screaming kids, whatever, their pets, whatever.
And there's like they're looking for you to kind of get tense up. Like especially the kids, they're looking. They've got their eyes on you. You can tell. And then if you just look at them and say, "How are you?"
Yeah, some people,
and then they kind of also fall in line with your mystique.
There's some people. There is some houses. I will say this: that it is common. It's still common that I'll go into a house and you can just tell that they don't trust you. They're like, "Who is this guy?" Like I'm maybe. Some people think I'm still in college. I don't think I look that young, but they'll, I guess, think, "Who is this kid coming in here? What does he know about this?" But that's where like knowing your product and knowing this business enough like helps me, because any doubt they have or distrust they have in the beginning, as soon as I start opening my mouth and asking them the right questions, and I guess my experience, I give off maybe a confident vibe, all their defenses just come down. Mm-hmm. And they realize, hey, this guy's actually an expert.
It's the aura that you have.
They realize they're talking to an expert.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I know everything about Medicare by any means, but I know enough about selling and I know enough about the trajectory and where I'm going. I know the A to Z process to get where I got to go for this product, that I don't doubt myself. And it comes across, I guess, in my body language, stuff, communications, whatever you want to say.
Well, Matt, we've covered a lot. We've kind of dove deep on a few things there.
Yeah, we could riff on this kind of
I know.
Technology.
I don't know if people want to hear us riff forever on something, but I think it's invaluable to have this type of conversation.
Yeah.
And if somebody's out there selling and you're saying, how do I do this? Well, yeah, I think you get the picture. You want a lot of leads. You want a lot of swings at the bat.
Yes.
Creates a certain level of comfort, but there's a certain dedication that you must have to learn, and all those things combined. So lots of leads, dedication. You want to apply yourself to excellence in sales and product knowledge, and then time management. You said
time management is huge in this.
Yes.
So huge, because leads are the bedrock of our business, but at the same time, if you can't work them effectively, then that's still going to reflect in your sales at the end of the week. So I learned that the hard way through my first years in final expense.
Yeah, I must say that you do a good job with the spreadsheets and everything. Because Matt's an Excel guy, so I mean, you work it, and he'll send me spreadsheets just snapshots. You send those to me, and then they're color coded and everything.
Yeah, well, I have help, and that's the one thing that changed my entire business. Changed when I got help, when I had an appointment setter or even a virtual assistant helping me build this schedule, or telemarketer even, like that changed everything for me.
Yeah,
because I try to focus all of my time just on selling, and then I can prep for the week like on a Sunday, but at the same time I try to make sure all of my time is just selling in front of someone, and not worrying about leads or generating the appointments. I try to push all that to someone else. And you can door knock, but I try not to even have to do that. So we could talk about this stuff forever, but I think what'll help someone the most is just, and you hear this with every sales, but learn your product. But also, the more leads you have, the less outcome, the less dependent you are for every single presentation.
You can relax a little bit because you have safety in numbers.
Yes.
The law of numbers will work for you, even if you suck. for lack of a better word, if you really suck, and you have a lot of appointments, you're going to get lucky.
And then give me the leads that you suck on.
You're right. Again, we invite you to work with us. Of course, we recruit agents all over the country, but we want some agents that want to work with us right here. Whether you're a local agent or you want to come from California, we don't care.
We've got a nice agency that's in the process.
Well, you've lived in California, haven't you?
No, my father's side of the family is from there, so I visit out there.
You're out there frequently.
I'm a Georgia boy, born and raised, and then moved here 2 years ago.
You don't sound like a Georgia boy.
I think there's definitely an accent there, but maybe.
You think maybe? Well, you're Atlanta though.
Yeah.
So you don't really get the whole Georgia thing when you grow up in Atlanta. I mean, you don't get the Southern boy thing.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I did when I was a kid. I did for sure.
The whole y'all thing.
Well, I still say y'all. Yeah. I don't have such.
Y'all's good. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but definitely, if there's agents in Greenville area reaching out to that are interested in this.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It helps to have people around you to help you be successful. That's one of the biggest problems. I'm trying to wrap this video up, but we keep broaching these other subjects. One of the biggest problems I had when I started is I didn't want to listen to anybody because I never worked with people that were extremely successful. Okay. So I would kind of like use them up real quick, and then I would just I would get everything I could from them. But that was a lot of my ego as well. I can't help it. I mean, it's
At least you're honest about it.
Yeah, right. So let's move on. But I generally would look at somebody and I would judge what they had to offer me, and I would discount them from being a mentor, so to speak.
Okay.
And so that was a problem I had. But if you can apply yourself and be around people, when I started in the Medicare space, I went with a career agency that had the leaderboards on the walls. They had there's contests, little mini sales contests. There was a classroom environment. There were 15, 20 agents there every single day. So every morning I walked in the door, there was a bunch of agents. I kind of sort of needed that at the time, but I was able also to, because I was older, I was able actually to listen to people.
How old were you when you did that? Was that with
that was a dozen years ago.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So I do the math in my head. I don't even know how.
Yeah,
old
right.
you are now.
Well, yeah, right. That's not even important. But no, that was a career agency, and I went there, and I was running one of those offices in 9 months, and that was AmeriLife, the AmeriLife Career Agency, which AmeriLife has a bad reputation in a lot of ways. But I tell you what, if you go there and work, they teach you what you need to know. And they're very, very good at it. The problem is when you try to leave. That's the problem with them. In their career agency. And I say a problem, you know what? You signed the contracts, you signed the non-compete, so you understand what you're getting into. And, usually it's handled wrong when people leave, which I did. I handled it wrong when I left. And they don't like that. And they will slap you. For it. So, but it's a career agency. They're devoting a lot, putting a lot into you. And I say this not to defend any or promote any company, but just the facts are the facts. If you go with a career agency, they're going to invest in you. They're going to put time and effort into you. And they want a return on that. Mm-hmm. And, that's all there is to it. It's like if somebody comes with us, we want them to stay with us for a while. We don't want to put all our effort and time into training them, and then they're out the back. See you guys.
Yeah, and but I think it's just part of the business also.
It is part of the business, but I'm saying what you want. All right, well, listen, we're going to wrap this up. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.